Hey guys, Tyrip here, and today we're taking a look at the Winter Balance Update Preview version 1.0. This is November 2020. Just wanted to clarify that because there have been some other balance updates called the Winter Balance Patch and stuff like that. So just thought I'd get that one out of the way at the start of the video. So let's jump into it. General changes. All heavy machine gun teams, they're getting a formation change when they're out in the open. Now, some men will stand in front of the gunner, making it less likely for enemy units shooting at them from the front. Just get the gunner death loop. So they should be more effective against units charging head on. Manual reload added, so you'll be able to reload the machine gun when it's out of combat yourself. Stop those awkward situations where they fire like half a burst and then have to reload and then just getting overrun in that timing. So you'll be able to manually reload, so you'll be able to set up your defensive positions a lot more effectively. And all heavy machine guns will now have a icon when using armor piercing abilities. I believe the 50 cal didn't have an icon, so that will be fixed. Here's a look at the new machine gun formations, and as you can see here, we've kind of got two models standing forward of the gunner on either side of the gun. So that means that, you know, if you've got an enemy squad like charging straight ahead, instead of targeting the gun, you should target one of these models on either side. We'll do a quick test on that now. This is kind of the nightmare scenario in the past, right? Yep, and there we go. This model here died first, so the gunner didn't go into a death loop, and that means the LMG squad, long range, doesn't take out your machine gun and it stands a chance. So I think this is like really big, especially in this exact kind of scenario, you know, unvetted machine gun against a highly vetted LMG squad. I think this change will be a huge game changer. So here's a look at the new force reload button on machine guns. Here it is on A, same, this is a 50 cal over here. They're all got force reload on A. With the button, that forces the machine gun into reload cycle, so you won't be caught out in those awkward reloading situations. Then on the dish key here as well, so you can see that. Goes to the reload, and then we're ready to roll. We'll also take a look at the changes to the UI when it comes to being on AP ammo. So we'll pop the AP ammo on all these. See, they all got the same one now, kind of what the dish key used to have, I believe. Got some kind of icon floating circles around their heads. And this is what the Austrooper used to have as well, right? Back in the day. So let's look at the changes to the machine guns. I like transport half tracks. So this is the USF M3 M5, Soviet M5, not the Soviet M3A1 Scout car, not the Osseer 250 either. But yeah, they're getting healing. So when units are inside them, they'll heal up over time, similar to the changes that 251 got a couple patches ago, so it's nice for them. Worth watching with these ones though, since units inside can shoot out of them. Will these be too strong? You know, if you get like two squads of shock troops or something in AM5, will that be OP? Probably not, but worth checking into. And look at the half-track healing change. We've got a whole squad of conscripts on 1 health, and we'll chuck them inside the half-track so you guys can see how fast they'll heal up inside, just in case you're unfamiliar. Maybe if you're an allied only player, you're not too familiar with the half-track healing. So there you go, that's the rate of healing. It's a decent tick, but not like crazy strong. But yeah, a good change there for the half-tracks. Snipers. The intended change is to make snipers less capable of operating on their own when they do not have veterancy. This will force a player to have a forward spotter to fully utilize the range of their sniper, or move their sniper closer to the intended target. And they've got some quality of life changes as well. So cost is going down. Sight is going from 45 to 40. So regular squads have 35 sight range and 35 attack range. So snipers are going to have to be, you know, quite close to enemy units to actually shoot at them just with no spotters. So that means that, you know, if you get shot at, you might be able to like charge forwards, maybe with like URA. You've got like a sprint ability on your units. Close distance on them, threaten the sniper, force them away. Especially in the early game when there are not that many units on the field, this should make quite a big difference. Will no longer auto-target vehicles, so that's nice for them. Or just, you know, unintentionally reveal themselves, shooting at something that they have no hope of damaging. And Vet 2 is getting changed, so sight bonus is going up to kind of slightly compensate for the nerf at Vet 0. So now total is 50 range instead of 54, so not fully compensating for that, but a slight boost here. Here's a look at the sniper sight range changes. Each one of these lines is 5 range. You can see it goes out here to 40 range. So previously it would have been 45, would have been able to see out to that line there. And that's the sniper's max range there, out to 50. Compare this to a conscript squad, is 35 range. So you can see there's a 5 range gap, but that's a pretty small margin. And now we're going to vet the sniper up. And now it can see out to the edge of its range exactly 50, whereas previously it would have come out slightly further than that, out to 54. Plane crashes are getting changed. They're no longer going to do instant death crits to infantry that they land on. The AOE is getting changed on them. And the damage against infantry is reduced by 66%. So this doesn't really affect me too much as a 1v1 player. I feel like it's very, very rare for a plane crash to hit me. But in team games, you know, there are a lot more planes flying around, much more likely to land on the map as well. So it should be a good change for all you guys who are frustrated about plane crashes just wiping out your army. So I'm going to try and demonstrate a plane crash for you guys here. I've done a couple so far, but they haven't really been good hits. Oh, there we go. Got a good one there. Landing, you know, pretty flush on this conscript squad. And oh, man, they dropped almost nothing. That was like maybe a couple health. We'll go to health table. In fact, we can see it. That was a friendly plane though, worth mentioning. I'm not sure if that makes a difference if these are friendly fire modifier planes. So yeah, looking at the health table after the plane, it looks like it wasn't a complete direct hit, but it looks like it probably would have got a decent hit on at least this model over here. And it lost 16 HP, so yeah, very, very minor damage now from plane crashes. All mortar teams, to encourage the use of mortars without boosting their offensive potential, smoke is being decoupled from the barrage cooldown. So this is nice, you know, maybe if you like fired a barrage, you only landed 1 or 2 shells, you're like, oh damn, I need smoke. Now you go smoke straight away. Or maybe similar story, maybe you launch a smoke barrage, you only kind of wanted like 1 or 2 smoke shells down, now you want to launch into HE after that. We're able to do that, so it makes, you know, mortar teams a bit more responsive without just making them straight up stronger. Formation changes. This is like a minor detail, but it can make a pretty big difference. So currently there are quite a few squads that walk around in like a V formation. And that's a bit of an issue because, you know, the model at the front of the squad, as it approaches the enemy, all the enemy models on that squad are just going to shoot at that front model, it's going to die straight away. So a few squads are being switched from that formation to more like the infantry section style, which is a bit more of like a box formation. Maybe that will mean that, you know, the fire will be distributed maybe amongst like 2 or 3 models instead of all focused on that one model, which will instantly drop. So yeah, a few squads are getting changed. Assault officers, pathfinders, grenadiers, partisans, and vehicle crews. They're switching from the V to the more box style. Also a slight change here to units carrying Panzerschrecks. Those Panzerschreck models will try and stay at the front of the V formation. So they'll be, you know, closer to the front, be in range of the tanks a little bit more effective. Here's a demonstration of the formation changes. You can see the grenadier in their new formation, the more box style formation. You can see you've kind of got like 2 models leading the charge, so if they do, you know, run head on in, there's more likely to be like 2 or 3 models kind of leading the charge. So one model at the front is kind of less likely to get instantly sniped compared to, say, this is the V style here that the Panzer Grenadiers are in. You can see there's like 2 models leading the charge at the moment, and you can see the changes of the Panzerschrecks trying to stay at the front of the V. Also another change this patch, but yeah, you can see the difference here. Trying to move in that V formation, the Panzer Grenadiers, compared to the Grenadiers moving in the more box formation, should make them less susceptible to getting a model sniped instantly. Trenches are getting their target size changed from 2 to 17, so this is a pretty big change. By comparison, I think a Centaur size 18, so, you know, kind of bordering on medium tank size here. That should make them quite easy to kill with like tanks or anti-tank guns. Infantry-based flamethrowers. This change will allow flamethrower units to demolish structures much more quickly, allowing easier denial of key garrisons. Number of flame bursts needed to set buildings alight reduced from 30 down to 15. So I believe this is kind of more in line with what it used to be, like way back in the day. I think when the Brits got released, vehicle flamethrowers left a pool of flames behind, and that was just like ripping through buildings super quickly. They just like instantly get flattened. So buildings' flame resistance got increased a lot, but as a side note of that, infantry-based flamethrowers now just, 30 flame bursts, they'll take you like probably a minute and a half to burn down a building. It's just like completely unrealistic for a game. So now much more viable to actually burn down a building with an infantry-based flamethrower. So I figured out time how long it takes down, a standard sized wooden building here on Colony Firma to burn down from entry base flamethrower after the changes. 15 bursts. How long will that take? And there we go. It's starting to set on fire now. Can't get inside it anymore. So I think that took about 50 seconds still. So yeah, it's still going to take a long time. I saw some concern from some people about how this might be too strong at denying buildings. But yeah, there's a pretty big time committal, about 50 seconds to try and burn down like a standard wooden building. And now for a standard stone building. Try to start this at exactly 1 minute. Oh wow, that started burning down a lot earlier. That one actually started torching at about 1 minute, like 30 seconds. That was unexpected. I didn't expect a stone building to take less time than a wooden building. Okay, well there we go. Color me surprised. Sherman. This changes to standardize all the machine guns for the Sherman family. So upgrade time is being changed to 35 seconds across the range. Cost is being changed to 60 munitions across the range. Some at a 70. Kind of bring it in line with other pintle mount machine guns for like Axis as well. And the damage profile of the 76mm upgrade is being standardized to the same as the regular Sherman. The Panther's getting a change here. The base accuracy is going up right across the range at all ranges. And on top of that, a Vet Tour gets a 10% accuracy boost. So pretty big buff here to the Panther. Change here to sandbags. We are increasing the time it takes to build sandbags for a select number of units. This will make it more of a strategic choice to build sandbags because building them in the early game will hinder the pace in which the map can be captured. This should encourage players to build sandbags only in vital locations rather than putting them everywhere their line infantry goes to capture. The sandbag build time increased from 12 to 18 seconds for infantry sections rather than infantry areas. So not to like pioneers or conscripts here. So I think capturing a standard territory point takes 15 seconds, capturing a high resource point takes 30, and capturing a VP cost takes 20. So yeah, if you're capping just standard territory points, building sandbags will take you a bit longer, especially if you're like running from the rear of the point and then coming to the front and building the sandbag at the front. It could slow you down a good like 5 or so seconds, maybe even a bit more. So yeah, I changed there to sandbags, make them a little bit less viable. I've seen a lot of sandbag spam, especially at tournament play. So also effective if you're like, OKW in the early game, charging onto your cutoff, putting a sandbag down, and then you just have a tremendous amount of trouble pushing back onto your cutoff. It'll make those kind of things a little bit less viable. You have a bit more time to get back there to shut down that sandbag kind of play. A demonstration of the sandbag build time. We're going to be coming to this point, putting a sandbag on the far edge. See the difference between the capture time and the sandbag build time. And there we go, the point is captured and we're only just slightly over half down on the sandbag. So yeah, if you're trying to sandbag like this on points like this as you're trying to cap on your way out in the early game, it's definitely going to slow you down a lot. But if you have to neutralize the point and then capture it, it's not really going to impact you. Quality of life changes. All clip-based units and armored cars are going to get manual reload. So this is, the USFA half-track, flak half-track, Oswin, and so on. You'll be able to manually reload them. This probably makes the biggest impact on the USFA half-track. That thing takes ages to reload. And if you're caught at a bad reloading time, man, you just get bodied by enemy light vehicles like the Lux or the Puma. You can, if you're fully reloaded, you can fight back against them quite effectively. But if you're not, if you have to reload mid-fight, you're going to get smacked up. So yeah, for the USFA half-track, I think that's going to make a big difference. And for the Oswin as well, be able to reload before making a big push in. The others, I think it's going to be a bit more minor of a benefit. But yeah, nice quality of life change here. Light vehicle and light tank wrecks. All light vehicle wrecks will be crushable by other light vehicles. So that's nice because, sometimes you'll be in a situation where you'll be super aggressive right on top of the enemy's light vehicle. You kill it, and then you kind of get stuck in the wreck and you couldn't get out of there. And maybe that would end up getting your light vehicle killed. Maybe the enemy could come up there AT grenaded or move their anti-tank gun in position and get another shot off just because you got stuck in the wreck. So it'll make it a lot better. You won't be caught in those really annoying situations where you're stuck in the enemy's wreck. The hold fire ability is being changed. So now when you're on hold fire, the pintle machine gun upgrades on tanks won't shoot at aircraft anymore. And that's really nice because, before you maybe be out of sight range of the enemy, backing your tanks out of the range of a loiter. but your machine guns will be still shooting at them, and then the loiter will come through for another anti-tank pass on your vehicle. So now that won't happen anymore. It's really nice. Change here for if you're playing like custom games with a high resource enabled, call-in infantry such as Ostrupen will be immediately available. So if you're playing those custom games with high resources, this is a nice change for you. HQ/bunker medics. The following change should relieve some of the issues where there are too many models in the base which blocks the path of medics. So you might have had this before where the medic's kind of like standing there trying to like ram into it, trying to get to a model that it just can't access, and you kind of have to spread your units out in base for them to actually get healed. So now there's a healing aura on those medics, so that super stacked up units shouldn't be an issue anymore. So we're going to take a look at the new medics with the healing aura. We've got 5 squads retreating back to base here with 6 men, so they're super clumped up, and as you can see here, they're all getting healed up nicely. The health table here. See there, all the models are getting healed up nicely here on these squads. So yeah, the AOE healing here working really well actually, these super clumped up units. I don't know what happens if I spread them out. So it looks like having them clumped up is actually to your advantage with this kind of healing, because they've got the AOE healing. So the more clumped the better. And then more units, more individual squad models can actually benefit from the AOE healing. Interesting. Anti-air units. A toggle has been added to allow anti-air units to prioritize aircraft, ignoring other units within the vicinity. So I think the USFA half-track used to have this at one stage. Maybe it does now, I can't really remember. But yeah, now it's available on all anti-air units. You'll be able to focus on shooting down planes instead of shooting at units on the map. So here's a demonstration of AA mode. Currently we're shooting at these grenadiers. We activate it, but it doesn't actually switch over to targeting the planes, because you manually gave an attack order to the grenadiers on the ground. But now when we move it a little bit, then it'll start retargeting and shooting at the planes instead. But when you're still in AA mode, you can right click and target units on the ground. So just be aware of that. It's not like a surefire, now I'm going to guarantee target planes. If you have right clicked, manually target a unit on the ground, it will keep shooting at that. Fort Assembly and Glider. The British Fort Assembly and Glider disappeared in the fog of war after having been spotted. Unlike other structures, this made it harder to remember their exact location, for example, to target them with indirect fire. This has been brought in line with other structures, so now they will correctly appear in the fog of war when spotted, similar to other structures. So here we are pre-patched. I've built a whole bunch of buildings back here of different factions so we can compare the changes. So we've got the Fort Assembly, a bunker, we've got a battle group, and then we've got the logistics glider back here. So I've scouted all those out. This is pre-patch, remember. Pre-patch, we've scouted all these different buildings up. Now we can see their different behavior in the fog of war. So you can see that you can still see the bunker, still see the battle group HQ there, but you can't see the Fort Assembly, you can't see the glider anymore. So this is pre-patched, that's the issue with them. And now here we are post-patch. We've got the Fort Logistics glider over here, the Fort Assembly over here. We're going to run around the corner, see what's left after that. Okay, so we can still see the Fort Assembly, and we can see the splat of the glider, but the Logistics glider doesn't have a building icon on it. Interesting, but you can see the Fort Assembly, kind of like you see enemy structures on the mini/tactical map. Medical crates for Axis team weapons. Certain Axis team weapons, such as the infantry support gun, could not pick up medical crates. Now they'll be able to pick up medical crates, and more quality of life changes are planned. Nice stuff. A huge thank you goes out to my Patreon backers, and if you enjoyed this video, consider coming on board.